Have you ever woken up one morning and felt like nothing really makes sense anymore? Like the path you were walking has vanished, and now you're just standing still? Maybe you used to know where you were going. You had plans, goals, dreams that kept you moving forward. But now? Now it feels like you're not even sure what you want anymore. You scroll through life while everyone else seems to be moving fast. You smile when you need to, laugh when the moment calls for it, but deep down, there's a quiet voice asking, is this all there is? And maybe the most frustrating part is that you don't even know how to begin again. Because when you feel lost, even the smallest decisions can feel impossible. Should I stay or should I go? Should I try something new or keep pushing through what isn't working? You've probably tried searching online for answers, watched videos, read quotes, maybe even bought a book or two. But somehow, none of it sticks. It doesn't fix the feeling inside, the one that tells you something needs to change, but you don't know what. Here's the truth. Feeling lost does not mean you've failed. It means you've grown out of who you used to be. It means your soul is whispering that it's time to become someone new. But here's the problem. Most people don't know what to do when they reach this point. They either panic, rush into the next distraction, or worse, give up. What if I told you that this moment, this exact moment, is actually the beginning of something incredible? Not the end of your story, not a mistake, not a detour, a turning point. That's right, because every person who has ever done something great with their life went through this same stage. They stood in the dark for a while, felt confused, doubtful, overwhelmed, but then they chose to move anyway. And that choice changed everything. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but how do I even start when I don't even know where I'm going? I get it. That's exactly why I created this video, because sometimes when we feel lost, we don't need a full map. We just need the first step. And what I'm about to share with you is not another generic list of advice. This is a real, powerful method that has helped thousands of people rediscover their direction. Not by waiting for clarity, but by creating it. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a simple, science-backed communication challenge that will help you reclaim your confidence, find your voice, and start leading your own life again, starting today. Yes, really. And here's the reward for watching till the end. By the time this video ends, you'll have a clear action plan that you can start using right now to stop feeling stuck and begin building the kind of life that feels exciting again. No more waiting, no more guessing. Just a clear, powerful way to shift your mindset and your results in just 14 days. So if you're ready to stop feeling lost and start finding yourself again, keep listening, because what comes next could change everything. Feeling lost is not a flaw. It's not a sign that you're broken or going in the wrong direction. It's a sign that you're human. Everyone at some point questions their path. Even those who seem to have it all together have stood where you are now, unsure, quiet inside, searching for meaning. This moment isn't an accident. It's part of your growth. Think about it like this. Before any big change in your life, there was always a moment of confusion first, a pause, a silence before the next chapter began. That's exactly what's happening now. You're not stuck. You're being prepared for something bigger. Many people don't understand this. They panic when they feel lost. They rush to fill the space with distractions, jobs, relationships, goals that don't truly fit. But trying to escape the feeling only delays what's meant to come next. Because here's the truth, growth doesn't always feel good. Change rarely feels comfortable, but both are necessary. You were never meant to stay the same forever. And the fact that you're questioning things means you've already outgrown parts of yourself. That's not failure, it's progress. Your mind and heart are adjusting to a new version of you, one that's more aware, more awake, more ready to lead your own life. So instead of fighting the feeling, try this, breathe. Give yourself permission to not know everything right now. Because clarity doesn't come from forcing answers, it comes from allowing space for them to arrive. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do when you feel lost is stop trying so hard to find yourself. Just be still, let the noise settle, and listen closely. Because the next step won't come from fear. It will come from faith in yourself, in the process, and in the belief that even in the dark, you're still moving forward. You're not lost. You're simply becoming. You think you're lost because the old way no longer fits. The routines, the goals, even the people around you, none of it feels quite right anymore. But that's not confusion. That's clarity wearing a disguise. Because what's happening inside you isn't chaos, it's transformation. Every time you outgrow who you were, there's a gap, a space where nothing seems to make sense. That's the space between versions of yourself. And in that space, something new is being built. You don't need to rush through it or force it. You just need to trust it. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not stuck. You are simply becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more powerful than before. Think about how far you've already come, not just in big wins, but in quiet moments when you kept going, even when you wanted to stop. That alone proves you have what it takes to keep moving forward, even if you can't see the whole path yet. Feeling lost is part of the process. It always has been. Even the most successful people didn't know exactly where they were going when they started. They just knew they couldn't stay where they were, and that's where you are now, at the edge of your next great chapter. So instead of asking, where am I going, try asking, who am I becoming? Because the answer will shape everything. And here's the secret. The moment you begin acting like the person you're becoming, your voice changes, your mindset shifts, your energy aligns, and suddenly the path begins to reveal itself, not because everything changed overnight, but because you did. So take a deep breath. You're not lost. You're simply walking into the next version of yourself. And that is the most powerful place to be. You don't need a perfect plan to move forward. You just need one powerful step in the right direction. And that's exactly what this 14-day challenge is. Not a shortcut, not a quick fix, but a real science-backed way to start leading your own life again, starting today. Because here's the truth. When you feel lost, it's not always about where you're going. It's often about how you're showing up along the way. Your voice shapes your reality. Your words build your confidence. And how you speak, both to yourself and to others, decides whether you feel like a follower or a leader. That's why this challenge is all about communication, not just speaking clearly, but speaking with purpose, with power, with self-belief. For the next 14 days, I want you to become someone who doesn't wait for permission to lead their own life, someone who speaks like they already know where they're going, even if they don't have every answer yet. Because leadership isn't about titles or positions, it's about mindset. It's about choosing to take control of your thoughts, your language, and your energy every single day. This challenge will help you do that, one small but powerful habit at a time. Each day, you'll focus on a new communication secret used by successful people. These are not theories. They are daily practices that shape how you see yourself and how the world sees you. By the end of day 14, something inside you will shift. You'll notice more confidence, more clarity, more courage to keep going, even when things aren't perfect. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop waiting and start leading? Because the moment you begin speaking like the person you want to become, you start becoming them. This is your chance. No more excuses, no more hesitation. Tomorrow starts with you. And everything changes when you decide to show up differently, starting now. You wake up, you look in the mirror, you say the same things you always do. I'm tired, I don't know what I'm doing. This is too hard. And with every word, something inside you shrinks. Because here's the truth. You don't need to wait until you feel confident to speak like a leader. You become confident by speaking like one. That's your first step, starting today. Say what you want, not just what you feel. Leaders don't waste time explaining why they can't. They speak as if the goal is already on its way. Because language isn't just communication, it's direction. When you talk like someone who leads their own life, you begin to believe it. And when you believe it, you start acting like it. And when you act like it, that's when real change happens. So today, take control of your words. Don't let your fears speak first. Let your purpose lead the conversation. Instead of saying, I'm trying to figure things out, say, I'm building something new. Instead of, I don't know if I can, try, I'm learning how to make it happen. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing language that moves you forward instead of holding you back. Your voice has power. Use it to lift yourself up. not drag yourself down. This is day one of your transformation, not because you suddenly have all the answers, but because you've decided to speak like someone who's already on the path. And that changes everything. Because leadership doesn't begin with others noticing you. It begins the moment you start speaking like the person you're becoming. So stand tall, speak clearly, and say what you're going to do before you even know exactly how you'll do it. That's how leaders start, and that's how you begin again today. Words are not just sounds, they are the tools that shape your world. Every time you speak, you're not just communicating with others, you're talking to yourself. And how you talk to yourself decides how you feel about yourself. That's why language is one of the most powerful tools of leadership. It doesn't just describe your reality, it creates it. Think about this. When you say, "I can't," your brain believes you. It stops looking for solutions and starts building excuses. But when you say, "I will figure it out," something shifts. You open the door for possibility, for growth, for action. This is not just positive thinking. This is strategic thinking. Successful people don't always feel more confident than you. They simply use language that keeps them moving forward, no matter what. They don't let their emotions control their words. They use their words to control their emotions. That's the difference. So ask yourself, are your words helping you grow or holding you back? Do they build strength or do they feed fear? Because every time you speak doubt into existence, you make it stronger. Or every time you whisper, "I'm not ready," you delay your own progress. But when you choose language that lifts you up, you begin to believe in yourself again. You start seeing problems as challenges, not roadblocks. You see failure not as an end, but as a lesson. Your words are shaping your mindset. Your mindset is shaping your actions. Your actions are shaping your life. So change the words, change the story, and watch your world begin to shift. Because when you start using language that builds confidence instead of destroys it, you're no longer waiting for success. You're becoming it every single day. Most people speak without thinking. They talk to fill silence, to explain, to justify. But leaders don't just speak. They communicate with purpose. Every word has a reason. Every sentence moves something forward. That's the first secret you need to master. Not just what you say, but why you're saying it. Because when your words have direction, they gain power. They stop being random and start becoming tools of influence, both for others and for yourself. Ask yourself, are you speaking to build or to break, to create or to complain? Your language should always serve a purpose, either to move you closer to your goal or to lift someone else up along the way. Successful people understand this. They don't waste energy on useless words. They use their voice like a leader uses a map, always pointing toward where they're going. So today, make a choice, be intentional with your speech. Instead of talking about what you don't want, talk about what you do. Instead of focusing on problems, focus on solutions. Instead of repeating what's already happened, describe what's still possible. You don't need permission to speak like someone who knows where they're going. You just need the courage to start. And when you begin using your words to guide your life instead of describe your struggles, something inside you begins to shift. You feel more in control, more grounded, more like the person who leads their own life. Because leadership doesn't come from title or status, it comes from clarity, from conviction, from communication that means something. So stop speaking like a victim of your circumstances. Start speaking like the author of your future. Because every time you choose purpose over habit, clarity over confusion, and vision over doubt, you take one more step toward the life you truly want. You have something to say, but too often you hold back. You soften your words. Apologize for your thoughts. Speak like you're asking for permission instead of making a statement. That ends today. If you want to lead your life with confidence, you must first own your voice. Not the one that pleases everyone, not the one that hides behind "I think" or "maybe I should," but the one that speaks with clarity, strength, and self-belief. Because here's the truth, people follow certainty. They trust conviction, and they respect those who speak like they already know their value, without needing approval. Successful people don't wait for permission to be heard. They speak like what they have to say matters. And over time, the world starts to agree. So stop hiding behind doubt. Stop whispering your dreams like they're secrets. Say what you mean what you say. Your voice is not too much, it's not too strong, it's not something to shrink. It's your power, it's your tool. It's how you begin to shape the life you want. Every time you speak with confidence, even when you don't feel it, you rewire your brain. You tell yourself, I matter, my thoughts matter, my goals matter, and that changes everything. So today, practice speaking like someone who owns their path, not someone who's still searching for it. Instead of saying, I guess I want something different, say, I'm building something better. Instead of, I hope this works out, try, I'm making this happen. You are allowed to speak like the person you're becoming. In fact, that's exactly how you become them. Because leadership doesn't start with others believing in you. It starts with you believing in yourself enough to speak like it's already true. So own your voice, use it with pride, and let every word carry the weight of who you truly are and who you're about to become. You have a voice inside that doesn't want you to change. It's loud, it's familiar, and it will do everything it can to stop you from becoming who you're meant to be. That voice says things like, you've failed before. What if you look stupid? Maybe you're not ready yet. It doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about keeping you safe, small, and stuck. But here's the truth. Your inner critic is not your guide. It's your guard. It protects you from pain, but also blocks you from growth. If you want to lead your own life, you must learn how to silence that voice without ignoring it. Because yes, fear has a place. It warns you of danger. But when it starts making all the decisions, you stop moving forward. Successful people don't have less fear than you. They just refuse to let fear speak first. They train their minds to respond differently. Instead of I'm scared, they say I'm stepping in anyway. Instead of I might fail, they say I will learn. That's how they stay in control. So today, practice this. When doubt shows up, don't argue with it, don't fight it or feed it. Just thank it for trying to protect you, and then choose a better thought. Say out loud, I hear you, but I'm choosing courage. Or this is uncomfortable, but I'm doing it anyway. Every time you do this, you weaken the grip of fear. And every time you speak with confidence instead of doubt, you strengthen your self-belief. Because leadership is not about being fearless. It's about acting despite the fear. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Start speaking like someone who already knows their value, no matter what the inner critic says. Because the more you silence that voice, the stronger yours becomes. And when your voice gets louder than your fear, that's when real transformation begins. You've been taught that to be heard, you must speak louder. That confidence comes from talking more, not less. But real leadership, it doesn't come from how much you say. It comes from how well you listen. Because wisdom is born in silence. And the most powerful communicators don't just speak, they observe, they absorb, they understand before they respond. Think about the people you truly respect. Do they interrupt? Do they rush to fill the space with words? Or do they pause? Do they choose their moments carefully? Do they speak only when it matters? That's what makes them stand out. Not because they talk the most, but because they talk the least and still command attention. So here's your challenge today. Speak less. Listen more. When someone is talking, give them your full attention. Don't plan your response while they're speaking. Just hear them. Really hear them. Because listening isn't just polite. It's powerful. It builds trust. It builds understanding. And it gives you time to think before you speak. Successful people know this. They don't feel the need to prove themselves in every conversation. They let their silence speak first, and their words carry weight because of it. So practice restraint. Let others rush. Let others over-explain. You stay calm. You stay quiet. And then when you speak, you make it count. Also, listen to yourself. Pay attention to your thoughts, your emotions, your instincts. What are they telling you? Too often we ignore the signals inside us because we're too busy reacting. But when you slow down and listen to others and to yourself, you begin to lead from a place of clarity, not confusion. Because leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the clearest. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all until the moment is right. So today, step back, be quiet, listen deeply. And when you do speak, let it matter. You've had those moments when your emotions take over and your words follow. You say things you don't mean, or worse, you say things that make you feel smaller. That's what happens when you speak from emotion instead of value. You react based on how you feel in the moment, not who you truly are. But leaders, they don't let their feelings control their language. They speak from who they are and who they're becoming, because your value doesn't change with your mood. Your purpose doesn't disappear because you had a bad day. And your self-worth shouldn't depend on how you feel at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. So today, practice this. Let your words come from your truth, not your temporary state. Instead of saying I'm failing, say I'm learning. Instead of I can't do this, try I'm finding my way through it. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing language that lifts you up instead of pulls you down, because when you speak from value, you remind yourself of your strength. You reinforce your identity. You build confidence with every word. Emotional speech shrinks you. Value-based speech expands you. Think about it like this. When you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, your brain looks for shortcuts. And the easiest shortcut is negativity, doubt, fear. But if you train yourself to respond from your values instead of your feelings, you begin to lead your own life again. You stop being controlled by circumstances. You start being guided by choice. Successful people understand this. They know that emotional reactions create chaos, but speaking from value creates calm, clarity, and control. So ask yourself, are your words reflecting your current mood or your long-term vision? Because every time you choose to speak from value, not emotion, you strengthen your mindset. You build real confidence, and you move one step closer to the leader you were meant to be. So next time you feel overwhelmed, pause, take a breath, then speak, not from fear, but from who you truly are. You don't need a perfect plan to begin. You just need one small action done with purpose. Because the biggest mistake people make is waiting until they feel ready. But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of it. So today you start, not when everything feels right, not after you've figured it all out, right now, exactly where you are. Here's how. First, look in the mirror, not to judge, not to doubt, just to see the person who is choosing to change. Then say this out loud: I am becoming someone who leads my own life. Say it again. Let it sink in. Let your voice carry the truth of it, even if you only believe it a little. That's called mirror work, and it rewires your brain faster than you think. Because when you speak directly to yourself with intention, something inside shifts. Second, write it down, your goals, your values, your vision, not in vague terms. Be specific, and then read them out loud every day. This isn't just journaling. It's programming your mind with clarity instead of confusion. Third, speak your intentions into reality. Instead of saying, I hope this works, say, I'm making this happen. Instead of maybe I'll try, say, I'm committed to this path. Words create momentum. Use them wisely. Fourth, practice silence. Before you speak, pause. Ask yourself, is this coming from fear or from purpose? Because leadership isn't about talking more. It's about speaking with meaning. And finally, take one step today, no matter how small. Send that message. Make that call. Write that first line. Do the thing you've been avoiding, not because you feel confident, but to build it. Because confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you create through action. So here's your challenge. Start now. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. Because every time you choose to act, despite the doubt, despite the fear, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are leading, that you are becoming. And that's how real change begins. 14 days might not sound like much, but in the world of mindset, it's long enough to change your life. Because here's what happens when you speak differently for 2 full weeks, you begin to think differently, and when your thinking changes, everything follows. By day 14, you won't just sound more confident, you'll feel it. You'll notice how your energy has shifted, how your presence feels stronger, how you no longer shrink in moments that used to scare you. You'll start seeing opportunities where before you only saw obstacles. You'll stop doubting yourself as much, and when fear shows up, as it always does, you'll recognize it. But you won't let it speak first. That's the power of this challenge. It doesn't just change how you talk, it changes how you lead your own life. Because communication is not just about speaking to others, it's about speaking to yourself. It's about how you show up each day, how you carry your goals, how you handle setbacks, how you move through uncertainty without losing yourself. After 14 days, something inside you will shift. You'll feel more grounded, more centered, more like the person who knows their value, even when things aren't perfect. You'll catch yourself using language that builds instead of breaks, that lifts instead of limits, that leads instead of waits. And the most powerful part? You won't need anyone else to tell you that you're growing. You'll know it. Because real growth doesn't come from outside approval. It comes from internal alignment, from living in sync with the person you're becoming. So don't rush through these days. Don't skip a single one. Because every morning you choose to speak like a leader, you plant another seed of confidence. Every night you reflect on your progress, you water that seed, and by day 14, whether you realize it or not, you'll have grown into someone stronger than you were on day 1. Because leadership isn't born overnight. It's built one word, one choice, one day at a time, and you are now exactly 14 days away from becoming the version of yourself that's been waiting to emerge all along. You didn't come across this video by accident. You came across it because you needed it. Because deep down, you already knew something had to change. Maybe not your whole life, just your mindset, just your voice, just the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. And that's where real transformation begins. Because this moment right now is not just another day. It's a turning point, a quiet decision that will echo far beyond today. You are standing at the edge of something new, not because everything is figured out, but because you've decided to lead your own life anyway. That's what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. It's not perfect timing. It's not waiting until the fear goes away. It's choosing to act, even while feeling unsure. And you're doing it. You are choosing clarity over confusion, courage over comfort, growth over staying small. This challenge isn't just about better communication. It's about becoming someone who speaks with purpose, someone who leads not because of a title, but because of mindset. Because leadership starts within. It starts with how you talk to yourself in the mirror, how you respond when things don't go as planned, how you keep going even when you don't feel like it. And every time you choose to show up differently, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are powerful, that you are becoming more than you were yesterday. So don't underestimate this moment. Don't brush it off as just another video you watched and forgot. This is the moment you look back on when your confidence began to rise, when your voice started to carry weight, when your life started to shift, not because everything changed overnight, but because you did, because you made the choice. You took the first step, and you kept going, and that makes all the difference. So take a breath. You're not just watching a video, you're starting a journey. One word, one day, one decision at a time. And this is your moment. You didn't come across this video by accident. You came across it because you needed it. Because deep down, you already knew something had to change. Maybe not your whole life, just your mindset, just your voice. Just the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. And that's where real transformation begins. Because this moment, right now, is not just another day. It's a turning point. A quiet decision that will echo far beyond today. You are standing at the edge of something new. Not because everything is figured out, but because you've decided to lead your own life anyway. That's what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. It's not perfect timing. It's not waiting until the fear goes away. It's choosing to act, even while feeling unsure. And you're doing it. You are choosing clarity over confusion, courage over comfort, growth over staying small. This challenge isn't just about better communication. It's about becoming someone who speaks with purpose. Someone who leads not because of a title, but because of mindset. Because leadership starts within. It starts with how you talk to yourself in the mirror, how you respond when things don't go as planned, how you keep going even when you don't feel like it. And every time you choose to show up differently, You proved to yourself that you are capable, that you are powerful, that you are becoming more than you were yesterday. So don't underestimate this moment. Don't brush it off as just another video you watched and forgot. This is the moment you look back on when your confidence began to rise, when your voice started to carry weight, when your life started to shift, not because everything changed overnight, but because you did, because you made the choice. You took the first step and you kept going, and that makes all the difference. So take a breath. You're not just watching a video, you're starting a journey. One word, one day, one decision at a time, and this is your moment, this is it. The moment where you decide, will I stay the same or will I grow? Because motivation fades, inspiration passes. But a decision, when made with purpose, can change everything. You now have the tools, the mindset, the daily habits that real leaders use to build confidence, clarity, and control over their lives. All that's left is action. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop waiting and start leading? Are you ready to speak like someone who knows where they're going, even if the whole path isn't clear yet? If your answer is yes, and I hope it is, then say it out loud. I accept this challenge. Say it with conviction. Let your voice carry the weight of your choice. Because leadership doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins the moment you decide to show up differently. Tomorrow starts today. Your 14-day journey begins now, not next week, not after you've figured it out. Now. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. One day at a time, one word at a time, one choice at a time. Because growth doesn't happen in one big leap. It happens in small daily decisions that add up to something powerful. So make the decision. Start today. Speak with purpose. Listen more. Lead yourself first. And when day 14 comes, you'll look back and realize something incredible. You didn't just complete a challenge. You became someone new, someone stronger, more confident, more in control. And that version of you, that's who you were always meant to be. So take a deep breath, stand tall, and begin. Because the life you want doesn't wait, and neither should you.